When it comes to the lives of Golden Age celebrities, there's always more than meets the eye. Their glitzy, glamorous existences were often filled with drama, and their wills were no exception. Some left behind incredibly bizarre requests, from posthumous legacies to odd conditions. Let's dive into the weirdest details found in the wills of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Bette Davis, the legendary actress known for her fierce personality, had some unique requests in her will. While she left her jewels to her daughter, one of her most prized pieces was to be displayed at the Smithsonian. But the most unusual part of her will was her decision to leave part of her estate to fund a memorial for her ex-husband, whom she had once loved deeply. This was especially odd since he had passed away many years earlier. Despite their divorce, Davis's love and admiration for him remained strong enough for her to ensure his memory lived on. It's a fascinating example of how even the most glamorous stars sometimes left behind requests that reflected their personal, often complex relationships and emotions, far beyond what was publicly known. Charlie Chaplin, the iconic king of silent films, had a final request that reads like a plot twist from one of his own movies. After his death, Chaplin's body was stolen in 1978 by thieves who demanded a ransom. The criminals were caught, but the bizarre event led Chaplin's family to bury him in an unmarked grave, hoping to prevent future thefts. As for Chaplin's will, it included an unusual stipulation: his children were to receive a portion of his fortune, but only if they proved themselves worthy. This request stirred controversy, leading to speculation about his complex relationships with his family. Chaplin's final wishes were as dramatic and unpredictable as his films, ensuring that his legacy was both fascinating and, in some ways, a bit mysterious even after his passing. Howard Hughes, the eccentric billionaire and aviation mogul, left behind one of the strangest wills in history. His will directed a large fortune to be distributed among several heirs, but there was a significant twist: many of these heirs didn't exist. Some of the names listed in his will were completely fabricated, leading to a confusing and contentious legal battle that lasted for years. The challenge was that no one could find these supposed heirs, and many people were left wondering if Hughes had intentionally created fake beneficiaries or if they had somehow been manipulated. This bizarre scenario fueled years of speculation, legal disputes, and even media frenzy. To this day, the true identity of Hughes' legitimate heirs remains a mystery, making his will one of the most perplexing and enduring mysteries in the history of Hollywood and beyond. James Dean, the iconic actor known for Rebel Without a Cause, left behind a surprisingly heartfelt request in his will. Despite his untimely death at just 24, Dean made sure his beloved dog would be cared for after he was gone. In his will, he allocated a portion of his estate to ensure the dog's care, specifying that a caretaker be hired to look after the animal. Not only that, but Dean made sure the caretaker was paid a salary for their efforts. This unusual detail reflects the deep bond Dean had with his pet, showcasing a side of him that went beyond his Hollywood persona. While his career was tragically cut short, James Dean's devotion to his dog is a touching reminder of how some celebrities truly valued the loyalty and companionship of their pets. W.C. Fields, the legendary comedian known for his sharp wit, had some particularly unusual requests in his will. He wasn't a fan of paying taxes and made sure his final wishes reflected this disdain. In his will, Fields explicitly stated that none of his estate should go toward paying taxes, even going so far as to express a desire to cheat the government in his final moments. But that wasn't all. He also requested that certain personal items, including his letters and diaries, be destroyed after his death, ensuring that no one would ever read them. Fields will showed his rebellious side, wanting to keep some things private while avoiding the taxman as much as possible. His quirky, anti-authority mindset made this one of the most entertaining and eccentric celebrity wills in Hollywood history. Marilyn Monroe, the ultimate screen icon, left behind a will filled with intriguing details, particularly when it came to her jewelry collection. She left most of her prized pieces to her friend and acting coach, Lee Strasberg. However, some of the most interesting instructions were about specific pieces she wanted to keep secret. Monroe's will detailed that certain items, including a mysterious ring, should remain hidden from the public until after her death. She instructed that these pieces be kept out of the spotlight, adding an element of mystery to her legacy. The secrecy around these items only fueled public curiosity, and Monroe's will added another layer to her enigmatic persona. The combination of her glamorous public life and the hidden elements of her will left fans wondering about the personal side of the Hollywood legend that few truly knew. Greta Garbo, the iconic actress known for her reclusive nature, took her desire for solitude to the extreme in her will. Famously stating, "I want to be alone," Garbo's posthumous wishes were as enigmatic as her life. She requested that her estate be handled with the utmost secrecy, insisting on minimal publicity regarding her affairs. But the most striking detail was her funeral request. She demanded that it be held in complete silence, with no fanfare or media attention. This final act of seclusion ensured that her privacy, which she fiercely protected during her life, extended even beyond her death. Garbo's will reflected her lifelong desire to remain a mystery, leaving behind a legacy not just of cinematic greatness, but of quiet, unwavering solitude. It cemented her status as one of Hollywood's most enigmatic and private stars. Vivien Leigh, the iconic actress from Gone with the Wind, had a fascinating request in her will that revolved around her wardrobe. She stipulated that her clothing collection be passed on to her close friends and family after her death, ensuring that her cherished items would remain in the hands of those she trusted most. But it didn't end there. Leigh also asked for specific pieces of her clothing to be kept in private collections, adding an air of mystery and exclusivity to her legacy. This unusual request highlights the glamour she was known for on-screen, while also revealing her desire to keep certain aspects of her personal life intimate. By securing the future of her wardrobe in this way, Leigh ensured her iconic style would live on, but only within the circle of those who truly knew her, preserving the mystique of the Hollywood starlet. Rita Hayworth, the glamorous actress known for her beauty and talent, left behind a complicated will that sparked a public battle after her death. Hayworth's estate became the subject of a fierce legal dispute between her ex-husband Prince Ali Khan and her daughter Gina. While Hayworth left a portion of her estate to Gina, the legal struggle intensified as multiple parties, including her former spouses, sought control over her fortune. The contentious custody over her assets escalated into one of Hollywood's most notorious inheritance battles. The drama surrounding her estate became public, further fueling the media frenzy over Hayworth's life and legacy. The battle not only highlighted her complicated relationships but also drew attention to the challenges faced by the heirs of high-profile stars, revealing how personal matters can intertwine with public legacies in the world of fame and fortune. Clark Gable, the King of Hollywood, made a heartwarming yet unusual request in his will regarding the future care of his son, John Clark Gable. In the event of his death, Gable specifically asked that his son be raised by his close friend and colleague, Spencer Tracy, instead of a family member. Gable and Tracy shared a strong bond, and this request showed the deep trust Gable had in his friend, despite Tracy not being a relative. This provision was quite uncommon at the time, as most people would expect a biological family member to take responsibility for a child's care. Gable's decision reflected not only his admiration for Tracy but also his belief in the importance of trust and friendship. It was a rare example of a celebrity placing that level of responsibility on a non-relative, revealing a different side to Gable's personal life. Lucille Ball, the beloved comedic actress, left behind a surprisingly humble will that stood in stark contrast to her vibrant public persona. Instead of making extravagant demands, she requested that her personal belongings be divided among her family members, keeping things simple and intimate. One of the most significant parts of her will was her desire for her ashes to be scattered at a private, serene location. She wanted her final resting place to be away from the spotlight, reflecting her more introspective and private side, which was often overshadowed by her larger-than-life comedic career. This quiet request showed a deeply personal and reflective aspect of Ball, who spent much of her life in the public eye but clearly valued peace and solitude in her final moments. Her humble wishes offer a glimpse into the true nature of a woman who made millions laugh but preferred privacy in her personal life. Jean Harlow, the iconic blonde bombshell of the 1930s, had some unique requests in her will regarding her personal items. One of the most notable stipulations was that her most cherished pieces of jewelry be given to her mother and close friends, showing the importance she placed on these relationships. But perhaps the most unusual request was for her favorite outfits and other personal belongings. Harlow specifically asked that these items be kept in storage and never sold, ensuring they would be preserved as part of her legacy. This unusual provision reveals how Harlow viewed her personal possessions, not just as material items but as representations of her persona and Hollywood status. It was a way for the actress to maintain a lasting presence in the world she left behind, making sure that her most personal belongings were cherished and protected from being auctioned off or lost to time. Walt Disney, the genius behind Disneyland and the iconic Disney Empire, became the subject of one of Hollywood's most enduring myths after his death. It was rumored that Disney requested to be cryogenically frozen after passing, with the hope of being revived in the future. This fascinating story has persisted for decades, capturing the imagination of fans and fueling countless rumors. However, despite its widespread belief, there is no solid evidence that Disney actually made such a request in his will. His official will made no mention of cryonics, and it's likely that the myth started as a way to explain Disney's futuristic and innovative persona. While his will did contain provisions for his family and business, the cryogenic tale remains one of the most mysterious and intriguing legends about the Disney legacy, blending the boundary between fact and fiction in the world of Hollywood folklore. Elvis Presley's will may not have contained shocking or eccentric requests, but it did reveal a deeply emotional and personal detail about his life. Elvis was born as a twin, but his twin brother, Jesse Garon Presley, was stillborn. Although Elvis rarely spoke about his brother publicly, it's clear that Jesse's death had a profound impact on him throughout his life. In his will, Elvis made provisions for a commemorative grave at Graceland, his iconic mansion, to honor his lost sibling. This simple but powerful gesture showed that Elvis never forgot his twin brother and wanted to ensure that Jesse's memory was preserved. The grave remains a quiet tribute at Graceland to this day, a subtle yet poignant reminder of the bond Elvis shared with his brother, even though Jesse never had the chance to live. This act not only reflected Elvis's deep emotional connection to his family but also his desire to remember and honor the sibling he lost before birth. Greer Garson, the beloved actress renowned for her elegance and grace, used her will to leave a lasting impact on causes close to her heart. Known not only for her acting but also for her philanthropic efforts, Garson ensured that a significant portion of her estate would be directed toward charitable endeavors. One of her most notable requests was to contribute to cancer research, a cause that had likely touched her life in some way. Additionally, she made provisions to support children's education, highlighting her commitment to nurturing future generations. This act of generosity painted a picture of Garson as not just a glamorous Hollywood star, but as someone with a deep sense of responsibility and compassion. In doing so, she chose to leave behind a legacy that went beyond her films and her fame. Her charitable donation served as a reminder of her kindness and desire to contribute to the betterment of others, especially in areas that she believed would have a lasting, positive impact. Through her will, Garson's legacy continues to make a difference, providing support to cancer research and educational initiatives for years to come. Gary Cooper, the stoic and humble actor known for his roles in classic films like High Noon, left behind a will that reflected his quiet, modest nature. In a business where extravagance and public spectacle were common, Cooper requested that his funeral be held in a simple, private ceremony with no media coverage or public attention. His will made no mention of grand gestures or wealth. Instead, it focused on ensuring his estate was distributed to his family and close friends, in a manner that respected his personal wishes. Cooper's life, much like his on-screen persona, was characterized by a quiet dignity, and his will was no exception. He avoided the Hollywood excess that many stars indulged in, opting instead for a peaceful and low-key legacy. His estate was handled without any public fanfare, and his wishes were carried out with the same quiet elegance that marked his career. This desire for privacy in death further solidified Cooper's reputation as one of Hollywood's most grounded and unassuming stars, choosing to leave behind a legacy defined not by wealth or spectacle, but by simple grace and sincerity. His will reflected the same humility that he embodied throughout his career. Mae West, the glamorous actress and writer known for her bold persona, left behind a unique request in her will regarding her cherished diamond ring. This ring, a symbol of West's larger-than-life personality and star power, held great sentimental value to her. In her will, she asked that the ring be passed down to her longtime friend and confidant, a person who had shared a close and trusted relationship with her. This decision reflected the deep bonds she had cultivated outside of her public life, emphasizing the importance of her personal connections. The ring, more than just a piece of jewelry, became a tangible legacy of Mae West's iconic style and the relationships that shaped her life. By entrusting it to someone who understood her, West ensured that a piece of her bold, unapologetic spirit would live on, quietly honoring those who were closest to her in her personal world. So there you have it, some of the weirdest and most bizarre details from the wills of Golden Age celebrities. From secret jewelry collections to hidden heirs and quirky conditions, these stars certainly knew how to leave their mark, even after they were gone. What do you think? Which one of these odd requests was the strangest? Let us know in the comments.